And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Saturday. March Madness resumes, thank goodness, starting about at 2 o'clock today, so we have some time. We don't have to kind of rush it at the beginning of the show, but we will kind of take a look at our brackets. What do we got? We'll take a look at maybe a possible moneymaker. Is there anything good out there? Any great value for the college basketball tournament today? So the Sweet 16 begins today, folks, so buckle in. Not all day, unfortunately, but starting at 2 o'clock, so, got some time, just relax and chill. Watch Takes by Fans right up until tip-off, right? So we'll be covering a little bit of March Madness today. We are going to be updating our NBA power rankings also today. We couldn't really do that yesterday, too much in the show. And then we're trying to get back on track with our NFL Draft Prospect Countdown. We're trying to look at Elijah Molden these last couple of days. Haven't been able to kind of squeeze him into the show, so hopefully we can get all that. But there's a lot of stuff to do, so let's just get right into it today. So here we go, the stories of the day. And the first one, the breaking news from yesterday that we saw at the end of the show. The Dolphins trading the 3 pick to the 49ers for the 12 pick. And then the Dolphins also trade the 12th pick with the Eagles for the 6th pick. So let's get right into all these details. So here we go. The first trade that set off everything in motion was the Dolphins sending the number 3 pick in this year's draft to the 49ers. So now the 49ers are picking number 3 in this draft this year. Now the Dolphins swapped that pick straight up for 12 for 3. So the Dolphins move back to 12. But then we also get a 3rd round in this year's draft as well from the 49ers. And then we also get the 49ers 2022 first round pick and the 49ers 2023 first round pick. So we got a lot of picks for just falling back from 3 to 12. Now, if this was the only trade, I would be absolutely furious. I would be absolutely fierce. We already won, folks. We already won. Don't get too greedy. We robbed the Texans of that number 3 pick. It panned out to be a number 3 pick. It could have been whatever. It could have been whatever they finished off this season with. It could have been, they could have won the Super Bowl this season and we would have been picking 32. We would have gotten their 32nd pick, but we lucked out. Deshaun Watson played good, but everything else was trash. Bill O'Brien was still their coach at the beginning of the season, so they were losing a lot of games because of that. So we were lucky enough that they got the number 3 pick, but if this was the only trade that happened, I would be very, very upset and would probably not be a Dolphins fan anymore because we got that number 3 pick. We need weapons for Tua. We're falling back like we don't have priorities to draft. It was just truly frustrating. I don't care that we got these first round picks. I don't care. Let's get it now. We already won now. Let's start now. We're rebuilding. We've been rebuilding for a little bit now. So, we would just been pushing. We would have been just pushing that rebuild further and further and further back. But Brian Flores kind of saves the day a little bit more because after we trade picks with the 49ers, we also trade picks with the Eagles to move back up a little bit closer to back to where we were originally at number 3. So after we trade for the number 3 pick, then we trade with the Eagles for their number 6 pick. So the Dolphins moved their 12th pick that we got from the 49ers to the Eagles, who are currently drafting number 6 overall. So we swap places with the Eagles. So now the Eagles have the 12th pick in this year's draft and the Dolphins have the 6th pick in this year's draft. We also gave the Eagles the 2022 first round pick. That is our pick. So we traded our own 2022 first round pick. So now we still have the 49ers 2022 first round pick. So we only have one first round pick in 2022. Still only one pick because we traded ours but kept the 49ers. But we still have 2 first round picks in 2023, the 49ers and ours still. Right now, I don't know. With all these picks, I wouldn't put it past Brian Flores to keep moving. Now, that's where I'm getting a little bit of pause here because we just made 2 big old trades there a month out before the NFL draft, and now we've got all this more draft capital. So now I'm a little worried that Brian Flores is going to keep on trading, moving back to try to move back up. So I'm a little nervous to kind of see what the direction that the Dolphins are heading on. Let's just please stick with that number 6 overall pick now, please. I cannot take any more moving back. We need to get an elite talent either at the wide receiver. I would prefer at the wide receiver position, but we also need probably a running back too, and Najee Harris and Travis Etienne are definitely picks from the running back position that you can go and splurge and kind of do a high first round pick to go and get those two. So, or either one of those two. So we do have a lot of picks this year. Still 2 first round picks, just moved back a little bit. So here's the recap of what the Dolphins have for the next 3 years. So this year, 2021, we've got the first round pick at number 6. We got a first round pick at number 18. We got a second round pick at number 36, a second round pick at number 50, and a third round pick at number 81. That's all this year. Now, 2022, we've only got 1 first round from San Francisco because we traded our first round pick to the Eagles. We have the second round pick, our third round pick, and the third round pick from the San Francisco in 2022. And then in 2023, we have our first round pick, the 49ers first round pick, and then our classic second and third round pick. So we got 5 first round picks in the next 3 seasons, these next 3 drafts. So hopefully we use them. Hopefully we can get high first round picks. So please do not fall out of the top 10 here this season. We've got to go and secure talent. We need to secure some rookie talent this year to help out Tua. So overall, I guess it's an all right trade in the grand scheme of things. We moved back 3 places. Now, those other 5 teams drafting ahead of us really are in the market for quarterbacks. So hopefully we still have 1 option at wide receiver. So, man, I guess in all, after I've had the night to settle on it, because I was really not liking it last night when we broke the story, but having a kind of a night to sleep on it, overall, it's okay. It's all right. It makes sense. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted that number 3 pick. I wanted us to just go and splurge and just have, just go take whoever you want. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who we took at number 3. Nobody could judge us for that number 3 pick. A running back, quarterback, well, not quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, corner, safety, somebody you don't even know, somebody you just want to take a shot on, somebody that you just want to take a shot on because you see something in them, you kind of like them, but it's a risk-free pick because we just robbed the Texans. So overall, it's all right. I'll live with it. I'll have to deal with it. Not liking it a lot. I understand it. And I get it. That's all. I get it. I get it. I don't like it. I don't love it. I get it. Brian Flores, I don't know about you. I don't know. I want to talk to you. I need to see where we're going here because I like I said, we've still got a month left to this to the NFL draft, and I mean, if they're making huge trades like this a month out, I mean, once we start to get in the draft, our pick comes closer, and teams start to get a little bit more desperate trying to trade up. I mean, I think Brian Flores is going to pull the trigger and make some trades, which I will be furious about. If we're not picking in the top 10, I'm over the Dolphins. I will not be a Dolphins fan next year. So yeah, that's the recap of the Dolphins trade from yesterday. Alrighty, also yesterday, which is probably why the 49ers moved up in the first place, Zach Wilson, quarterback from BYU's pro day was yesterday, and man, oh man, was he turning heads. We already looked at him in our NFL draft prospect countdown, and we were really impressed. I mean, some of our notes here, let's see what we were saying about him. From what we saw, decent arm. We kind of kept it out at 50. We didn't really see anything more than that consistently when we were kind of watching his film. So 50 yards, still pretty solid. Would like to get him up to the 55, which I'm sure he can throw. We'll kind of double check what he did in the pro day yesterday to kind of see if he got to 55 yards. But what we were saying was 50 yards cleanly. He's got great red zone ball placement, high and away, taking those one-on-one shots when for the 50-50 balls, and he's placing it absolutely perfectly where only the wide receiver can get it, and no chance at a pick, no chance at a tip. It's just wide receiver gets it or it's an incomplete pass. Let's live for a second down and try it again. But he's got great red zone accuracy. He's got kind of Baker Mayfield type of speed, so still solid speed out there. Not kind of like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, but kind of second tier, good quarterback speed. Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, so he could still kind of dual threat decently. And then we say he thrives in the red zone, doesn't really turn the ball over, knows exactly where to go with the ball in the red zone, can make the quick reads, can make the quick throws, can make the kind of tight throws in tight situations down there. And like we said, those 50-50 balls in the red zone, that's what we're talking about. So great vision in the red zone, thriving in the red zone. And hey, Mitch Trubisky, I mean, he's out of the league because he sucks in the red zone. He can't score touchdowns in the red zone. It's either an interception or they settle for a field goal. Zach Wilson does not have that problem. So those were all the notes that we saw on that man when we were doing our NFL draft prospect breakdown of Zach Wilson. So now we get a minute and 24-second highlight clip of his pro day yesterday. So let's see the magic that he was working with, because I think the 49ers are going heavy after this man. They were the general manager for the 49ers were at the pro day. An NFL analyst, an NFL reporter kind of caught up with him to kind of talk about their plans. So we'll talk about that after, but let's watch what Zach Wilson was doing yesterday at his pro day. So here we go. If you were on Twitter yesterday, you were seeing these throws. I mean, this man was absolutely balling out. We're going to see a wild throw here if it's in this package, but we got it in another one as well. So all right, so great throw there. This is going slow. I thought there would be more throws here. Here we go. Now we're talking. This is the throw right here. Here we go. I mean, look at this. I mean, running all the way to the left, squaring his shoulders, and then just throwing it. What is it? This is 50 yards. He's throwing it from the 35-yard line, getting it all the way down to the 10-yard line. That's 55, right? Is that 55? That's like 55. We'll call it 55 yards. And look at how he did it. We'll watch it again right here. Rolling out of the pocket, but then he stops, and look at how he just kind of squares his shoulders. Not really even squaring them, just kind of like, I don't even know what to call this. Look at this man. Running all the way to the left, but not kind of like squaring his shoulders totally. I mean, he barely just goes perpendicular for a little bit and then flings it 55 yards on the run right here, running right, but throwing back left inside. It's right on the money. So I would get excited for this man. I think out of all the pro days that we've seen so far, I mean, look at these accuracy that he's having on the run, flipping his hips. He's trying to like emulate a little bit of Patrick Mahomes out here because he knows that's what it's going to take to kind of get the ball open in NFL defenses, because NFL defenders, they can kind of recover very quickly. If they're all rolling to the left, they can kind of stretch back out to the left real quick. So, I mean, some great throws here by Zach Wilson. Get excited on this man. What do we got? This throw one more time. We just saw it, but I mean, this was the throw that was just going crazy on Twitter yesterday. I mean, even Patrick Mahomes went on Twitter and was like, sheesh. And that's what he quoted this throw as. I mean, if you're impressing Patrick Mahomes, you're doing something gosh darn right. And that's what this man was doing. This man just stunted. He flexed on this pro day. He's like, if you didn't think I was going to be one of the top quarterbacks drafted this year's draft, you're sadly mistaken, because I just put on a show. I just put on a clinic, and everybody was out here watching. The right people were out here watching. And now I'm on Takes by Fans getting broken down by that. So, holy moly, what a performance that this man had. Watch for this man to go in the top 3. He could potentially, he's not going to rival Trevor Lawrence, because we've been talking about Trevor Lawrence for 3 straight years now. So he's not going to be the first quarterback taken, but possibly second. We'll see what the Jets do at number 2. I mean, the 49ers just traded a lot to go up to that number 3 spot. So if you don't think they're drafting a quarterback, I think you're sadly mistaken. So now that we've seen the 49ers move up in the draft, now we see why they moved up in the draft, and let's see if we can kind of figure out if they're actually moving off of Jimmy G or not. So a couple of seasons ago when the Cardinals, remember, they were all in on Josh Rosen, the first overall pick, the first quarterback taken, and then we get the quote by Cliff Kingsbury, Josh is our guy. What happened? They move off of him after one season. We've never seen that before ever in the NFL, where a team drafts a quarterback number 1 overall and then just gets rid of him for another quarterback because they were still trash next season. And then what do we get? The quote of this year, Kyle Shanahan saying Jimmy is our guy. I mean, they've done it once, obviously different different coaches, but the premise is still the same. Just because you say somebody is your guy does not mean that you're going to be rocking with them. It's a business out here. It's a cruel world out here. And when you got a chance and an opportunity to go and get a really great talent, you just got to kind of go and get it. So the 49ers are moving off of Jimmy G. I mean, I think it's clear at this point, you don't trade 2 first-round picks to move up to number 3 for a wide receiver. You don't do that for a running back. You really don't do that for any other position besides a franchise quarterback. And what's his name? I got to find out his name real quick. The James Lynch, something like that. I think I have a tweet here that I liked. I was going to bring it up in the show. Here we go. John Lynch. So they had a little reporter out here. He was out here for Zach Wilson's pro day. There he is. There's John Lynch at Zach Wilson's pro day. And he's basically like, hey, we traded up to number 3. Jimmy's still our guy, but if we get calls for him, we're going to entertain those calls. So I think it's kind of set in stone right now. 49ers are getting a quarterback. They will trade Jimmy Garoppolo if they need to, whether they trade him this season or if they trade him next season after having kind of Zach Wilson kind of back him up for one season and then trade him next year. But Jimmy G, he's not going to be there for at least this is Jimmy G's last year as a 49er if he plays the entire year or not. But Zach Wilson's going to the 49ers. That's what we're seeing right now. Trevor Lawrence to the Jags. Not really sure what the Jets are going to do. It kind of seems like they're kind of going after Justin Fields possibly. But number 3 is definitely going to go Zach Wilson to the 49ers. Of everything that we're seeing, of all these quotes, they're saying Jimmy's our guy, but they're taking calls. They know teams want Jimmy G. He's a good quarterback. I think he's serviceable. I think he's proven that he can get you to the Super Bowl if he can stay healthy. So I think you can definitely rock with this man. I think it would be interesting to see if the Bears go after him. I know we all just saw them sign Andy Dalton, and then they put out on Twitter that he's the QB1. But if Matt Nagy has a chance to go and get Jimmy G, maybe trade their first-round pick to the 49ers for Jimmy G, give the 49ers that number 3 pick, and then another first-round pick to kind of beef up their offense to help out Zach Wilson a little bit, I would say they would probably entertain that call very, very heavily. So we'll see what happens. We still have a month out before the draft, so, watch out for more blockbuster trades. I think I saw a stat like this is kind of like the craziest trade kind of in NFL draft, kind of having it a month out of the draft, kind of that far out of the draft. So I think this is one of the kind of the most blockbuster trades a month before the NFL draft. So we still got a month left to go, folks. Anything can happen. And then on draft night, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? So stick around for more big old drafts or big old trades here regarding a lot of draft picks. Alrighty, and then we get a 2020 best plays from the Jets here. So we got a nice little 3-minute highlight clip. Not really sure what the Jets are going to have here. I can't even tell you one good play from the Jets this season. Can't even tell you one. So here we go. I guess the Jets, they hit the game winner against the Raiders. Or no, they got hit on the Raiders, right? Something like that, which got the defensive coordinator fired. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know. Well, let's just watch the tape. Let's see what we got. So number 10 here, Joe Flacco's in at quarterback, so that's interesting. Going deep. Woo, okay. All righty, Joe Flacco. Let's see this one. He's going to fling this one from the 45-yard line, get it all the way down to basically the goal line. We'll give him 50. You could give him 55 yards on this throw. Holy moly. That's what Joe Flacco does. He gets you kind of buying him a little bit, so you overpay him, and then he flounders for that. So Jets never fell for this. They got rid of him. I forget where he's at, but he's not with the Jets anymore. Backing up somewhere else. All right, play number 9 is going to come on the defensive end. Drew Lock. Is that Drew Lock rolling out of the pocket? And that's a nice little sideline pick for this Jets defense. Yes, sir. Nice little toe tap, 2 feet down. Don't really see defenders doing that too much, so very well done out there. All right, play number 8, Sam Darnold trying to escape the pocket. He does, flushed out, and then finds his receiver in the end zone for a touchdown. Sam Darnold throwing on the run, and just look at that accuracy. I don't know if y'all give up on Sam Darnold just quite yet. We all know their bad coaching history and the bad franchise, but I still think Sam Darnold's got some decent talent in him. All right, number 7. Now, I mean, look at all this pressure. I mean, this offensive line is absolutely trash. And, pulling like a little Zach Wilson throw that we just saw from his pro day yesterday. Look at this man go, running out to the left, kind of going, I don't even know how the hell he threw this ball. This is magical right here. Watch this man. Holy moly. Throws it and then kind of throws it and then turns it into kind of a spin. We'll see a better angle there. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a throw right there. Woof. I don't even know what to say. That's amazing. I'll call it amazing. That's an amazing throw. Holy moly. Just a quick flip. I mean, that's what the NFL is turning into, folks. Stop setting your feet. Stop kind of doing your fundamentals of quarterback camp. Just throw the freaking ball. Just flip the freaking ball out of your hand. It's got to go for a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold here. Corner of the end zone. Oh, magnificent throw. I mean, this is what the man can do for your team, folks. I don't know if we give up. Oh, no, this is Joe Flacco. What am I talking about? Look at, does Joe Flacco still have stuff in the tank? I clown that man a lot, but man, oh man, that's a great throw right there. That's an amazing throw. Alrighty, a little kind of double reverse, and then a wide receiver throws it to another wide receiver, and it goes for the touchdown. Yes, sir. So trick play is the Jets' 5th best play of the season. It's not great. That's not truly great. All right, number 4 here, Jets back on the defensive end. Russell Wilson rolling out to the left, throwing it deep downfield, and that's a nice pick right there, trying to hit DK Metcalf. Throw was inaccurate, too much inside and underthrown, unfortunately gets picked. Number 3, another defensive play for the Jets. Another pick. Okay, this Jets defense, we like it. We see you out here. I mean, I think we've seen more defensive plays than offensive plays, and obviously that makes sense. They were trash on the offensive side of the ball because Adam Gase obviously is the worst head coach of all time. So look at this defense here, picking off Jared Goff, and now he's not a Ram anymore. I mean, can we blame the Jets for making Jared Goff lead the Rams? I think we can. All right, play number 2 here. Sam Darnold's got some legs. Yes, they're looking clunky out there, but it doesn't matter. It goes for the touchdown. Look at him go. Woof. Clunky, but gets the job done. Once again, I mean, the pressure is there. This offensive line for the Jets is absolutely trash, and Sam Darnold is trying his best with this garbage offensive line, and every time he kind of makes a nice play out of it. So fantastic work here by Sam Darnold. I think he's got, I would give him a second chance. Kind of like Marcus Mariota. Let's give that man another chance. Sam Darnold, if the Jets draft a quarterback, I think somebody's got to take a chance on that man. I would say Matt Nagy, take a chance on Sam Darnold if he's available. And then the number 1 play here for the Jets comes on the defensive end of the ball. Once again here, game's out of hand. The offense is putting up no points in the 4th quarter. Defense has to kind of get a kind of free play here with Ryan Fitzpatrick just airing it out deep, up 24-0, not a care in the world. And the defense of the Jets kind of gets a little lucky here. Underthrown ball. And then the ball just kind of slides all around the player, and he ends up grabbing it before it hits the ground. So that's the Jets season right there, folks. Nothing great. Always getting blown out. The offensive line getting absolutely destroyed by the defense. Sam Darnold running for his life, making absolutely amazing plays, making Joe Flacco look good here a little bit as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the Jets do. They need everything. New line, new coach. I mean, yeah, we know they got Robert Saleh. Not really sure how that's going to fare. But, I mean, their defense was good last season. We saw some nice kind of technique there by defenders, by corners, making some nice plays on the ball. So maybe Robert Saleh can really kind of solidify that defense and maybe just kind of hope the offense works a little bit. But that's the Jets' best plays of 2020, folks. Obviously, nothing great. They were very not good. They've got the number 2 pick. Obviously, they weren't good. So, but yeah, I mean, that was that. So, I say you give Sam Darnold one more chance, folks. Somebody sign that man. I would say the Bears. Y'all gonna rock with Andy Dalton over Sam Darnold? Come on. Andy D over Sammy D? No way. Alrighty, and then we get Derrick Henry back in the weight room, man. Oh my goodness. Every time I see this man's workout getting posted, I'm just like, holy, how? How can you do this exercise? What the hell is this? Like elevated push-ups with the weighted chain, with the chain on you, with the medicine ball, and then resistance bands. I mean, what? I don't even think I could do 1 rep, but after 1 rep, I'd be like, yeah, I'm ready to get down. Somebody help me off this freaking medicine ball, please. Somebody get this damn chain off my neck. Y'all know this weighs like 50 pounds. So King Henry, man, Derrick Henry, I'm telling y'all, he's gonna go down as the greatest running back of all time. I will put the show on that. I cannot wait to watch this man. Every single offseason, I'm the most bummed out, not by the lack of football, but by the lack of Derrick Henry rushes that I get to watch. So can't wait to watch this man work again. He's already getting right. This is like the third crazy workout video we're seeing. And if you're not working out as hard as Derrick Henry, there's no reason to show up on the field. So all the other running backs can go home. This man, oh my God, dedicated. A freak of a specimen athletically. Impressive. I'm impressed. I'm just impressed. I love it. Alrighty, and then we were kind of covering the story a little bit, kind of maybe 2 days ago. But the Ravens do kind of solidify Sammy Watkins, so they agreed to a 1-year, $6 million deal. This is probably their best deep threat that they have. He was with the Chiefs last year that we've seen for the last 2 seasons, I believe. I think he won a ring with that team. I'm almost certain he did. But, the Ravens need something at wide receiver, need a deep threat. And at Sammy Watkins, I think he's, 6'1", 6'2". So decent height there, decent speed as well. Can he stay healthy? Can't really be a true number 1 wide receiver. I mean, we've kind of seen that. So we'll see what he can bring to this Ravens team. But, a nice, tall, decently fast wide receiver. That's what they're looking for. Let's stretch the field vertically. That's what the Ravens are missing. Now they have the players to do so. Let's see if they put in the plays to actually do so as well. And let's see if they take the shots, if Lamar Jackson takes those shots. So we'll see what happens here. But, it's a solid pickup here. Alrighty, and then we get some NBA stories here. And once again, we bring up this story just because, hey, players, do what's best for you. Do not get bogged down by, I don't want to kind of hurt the team, or, this may not look good on social media, kind of just the optics of it, me leaving the team. That's never really great optics. But it doesn't matter, folks. The business side of the NBA, of the NFL, of all sports, they don't really truly care about you. They care about winning or maximizing their profits a little bit more than winning. So here we go. Norman Powell says that he was on the phone with his agent and was told that he wasn't being moved, and then 30 seconds later found out that he ended up getting traded. So just once again, nothing secure in this league. They will lie to your face. They do not care. They will cut you to save money. They will cut you for this. They will cut you for that. So do what's best in your interest. That's why we support Deshaun Watson kind of holding out there on the Texans, because they would do the same thing to him. So we just see it in the NBA now, right there. Alrighty, and then last night, yes, sir, Blake Griffin. We all know, now we know that he wasn't even trying with the Pistons, because we've seen him dunk already with the Nets, and now we see him getting caught the lobs from James Harden, the MVP of the league. Folks, if you went on Twitter either last night or this morning, everybody's talking about James Harden for MVP, and we've been saying this, we've been yelling this, we've been wanting this, we've been saying this for like a month. I think like this early this year, I think, is when we really kind of started to really kind of hammer it in that this man's the MVP. So everybody's on the train now. We've been on the train. We loved what James Harden's doing. He's improving. Blake Griffin's getting excited playing with James Harden. Yes, sir. Kyrie Irving's not even in the game to throw lobs to Blake Griffin, and James Harden is. So James Harden's not only improving his own game, but he's improving every other player on this Nets team. And we get Blake Griffin, hasn't dunked in over 2 years. First dunk, on the Nets with James Harden. Now first lob caught with James Harden. Come on, give this man the respect he deserves. He's elevating the play around him on every single player. And it's so funny. Everybody's like, oh, yes, the Nets have a super team with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. But KD's played like 1 game. Kyrie Irving's kind of in and out of the lineups here and there with long stretches. James Harden switched up his game. Kyrie Irving has not switched up his game. He's still that kind of aggressive shooter, wanting to be kind of the best player on the court at any given time, wanting his name in kind of the headlines. He wants to be the main reason why this team works, but he's not putting in the work that James Harden is, playing basically every single game. I think James Harden missed like 1 game this season, and it just came like maybe a couple of games ago against the Magic, or against the Jazz. That's why they got blown out. Jazz Nuggets? What was it? Jazz. Give this man the respect he deserves. He just kind of clutched it last night. Another win without Kyrie Irving. If it wasn't for James Harden, this team wouldn't be number 2 in the East, I tell you that. So, well done, Blake Griffin. Little upset that he kind of held back a little bit, that he wasn't giving it his full all there in Detroit with Derrick Rose. Really would have liked to see them kind of get it together and kind of build their own kind of something there special in Detroit. But he wanted to leave. Derrick Rose left, and now they're just trash, which they already were, but even more trash. Alrighty, and then the last story to talk about, just kind of, praising Trae Young a little bit here. We love to watch Trae Young work. We like what he's doing there with the Hawks. They just need something else, maybe another bench player, but they just did get from the Clippers, Lou Williams, so hopefully we'll see how that plays out. I'm hoping that kind of really solidifies the Hawks as true kind of playoff contenders. So here we go. Over the last 3 seasons, Trae Young has 57 games of 20 points and 10 rebounds. 20-plus points, 10-plus assists, or I meant assists there. 20-plus points, 10-plus assists, and the only other players with more than 57 games of those stats over the last 3 seasons, James Harden, who's the MVP frontrunner in my opinion this year, and then LeBron James, who's obviously the MVP frontrunner every single season and is one of the greatest players of all time. You can put him 1, 2, I don't care. I put him at 1. Come at me. I don't care. But yeah, Trae Young, got to give the respect he deserves. Truly a great player, really starting to take that next step, that elite step of kind of elevating the play around you, making your game better, making everybody else's play better, having kind of a great shot at the playoffs right now. I think they're currently 6th in the East right now, with the opportunity to really try to take advantage of that 4th seed. Don't really think they'll be able to kind of catch the Bucks, the Nets, and the 76ers at the top 3. We see that Hawks are currently 6 games out from that 3rd seed, but only like a half a game out from the 4th seed. So the Hawks can get up to that 4th seed, and I really wish they would. They just haven't been able to kind of beat the best teams consistently. They're beating kind of the average / below average teams. I mean, that's what they're beating. That's where all their wins are coming from. So that's our kind of slight hesitation on the Hawks, but they've got some nice starting lineup to try to challenge those elite teams. They're just kind of missing that other piece, that kind of 3rd great piece. We'll see if Lou Williams is that piece that they're missing. Alrighty, those are all the stories that we needed to talk about. So let's quickly head over to the NCAA tournament that resumes today. Currently, we are in 2nd place in our own tournament here. Go Rutgers is at 1st place with 33 points. We're in 2nd with 30 points. And HGMF6 is in 3rd place, last place with 28 points. So we do have a couple of games on today. Who is playing today? We got what conferences are playing? We got the South and the Midwest all playing today. The Sweet 16 games, Baylor versus Villanova. We have Baylor winning. The Baylor is the only left remaining team in our South bracket, so we do need a Baylor win today to keep on pace, to keep getting some more points here to catch that 1st place. Like we said, we do have the most points remaining out of any other bracket left, so that's great. We've got 96 points remaining, where Go Rutgers 1st place, that's only 3 points ahead of us, has only 76 points remaining. So we've got 20 more eligible points for us, and we need to take advantage if we want to kind of win the tournament, win this kind of, the tournament here. So Baylor, we need them to win. We don't have Arkansas or who is this, Oregon University, something like that, ORU. We don't have any of those. And then in the Midwest, we've got just Houston. We need Houston to beat Syracuse, and that's going to be a great game. Like we say, if you get a lot of Boeheims, you got to take it. So we might be able to get some great value with some points there, maybe Syracuse plus 6, 7. If we get 6 or 7 points to Syracuse, we're going to eat that up all day. So some nice games on today. 4 games, is that right? 4 games starting at like 2 o'clock today. Let's see what Go Rutgers is at. Is there any way that we can catch up with them today, or will we have to wait till tomorrow when we have a really good kind of West bracket still going and a decent East bracket still going? So here's Go Rutgers bracket here. 1st place, he's got Baylor winning as well. He did not pick Villanova, so, no worries there. But then he's got Arkansas. He did pick Arkansas right, but he had the Ohio State winning this game, so he can't get any more points there. So we will be able to kind of tie up with him here in the South. Can't really make any nice moves there to kind of upset him in this South region. And then in the Midwest, he's only got Houston, but he does not have Houston winning this game and moving on. So that's where we can kind of make up a little bit of ground. We need Houston to win. We can get some points off of that where he can. So if Baylor wins, we both get points. If Houston wins, I get points. And there's no other way that he can get points without us getting points. So we can make up ground here today. That's what we need to do. Houston, let's go Houston, baby. Houston, that's who to root for today. So yes. All right. And let's just see, can HGMF6, can he make up any ground here? He's got Baylor winning. So once again, all three of us have Baylor winning. So nobody's really going to be able to make up ground there. And he doesn't have anybody else coming out, so he can't make up any more other points there. And then in the Midwest, he didn't even have Houston. He's got no team remaining there in the Midwest, so he can't make up any ground. We can. So this is our chance. This is our moment to move up, possibly in first place. I don't know how many points we get awarded here for a Sweet 16 matchup correct pick there. Not really sure what the points are, but we can make up some points, and that's what we're looking for. So here we go. We can potentially get first today, folks, and then that brings us into tomorrow's action where we got some nice matchups here that we can kind of really still get a couple of points here. Alrighty, so that's what we got going on today. Let's do a little bit of a moneymaker here. Let's see if we get any really great value here. So here we go. The games on today, 4 games on. 240 is the first one. Oregon State versus Loyola Chicago. Let's go back to our bracket. We want to get kind of underdogs with a lot of points. That's what kind of is great value here in March Madness, getting a lot of points because anything can happen. So the first one up, Loyola Chicago in Oregon State. Unfortunately, we did not choose either of those, but Loyola Chicago has put up 71 points in their first 2 games. Oregon State has put up 70 and 70. Wow, they both put up the same amount of points in the first 2 games. How crazy. And Loyola Chicago's only outscored them by 2 points total. So interesting here. Oregon State getting plus 6.5. That kind of seems like good value to me. I mean, they're both putting up kind of the same amount of points, 70 to 71. We get 6.5 here by Oregon State. I like what Loyola Chicago has really been doing here. We see them, didn't they just upset somebody? They upset Illinois. I mean, that's absolutely magnificent there, and also great defense holding Illinois to only 58 points. But I think this is pretty good value here. Oregon State, or did I read that wrong? I did read it wrong. They put up 80 points, 70 and 80. That's my bad. So 80 points they just put up, and we get 6.5 with them. I think that's pretty good value there, and we will take that. We will solidify that. We do like Loyola Chicago, but Oregon State getting plus 6.5, I think that's tremendous value there. Somebody that we've seen put up a lot of points, and Loyola Chicago is kind of maxing out at 71, where Oregon State started at 70, then they moved up to 80, give us 86.5 points. I don't think Loyola Chicago is going to be able to put up any more than that. So Oregon State plus 6.5, great value there. Alrighty, then we get Villanova and Baylor. Now, everybody's got Baylor. Baylor's looking real good right now. They put up 79 points in their first game, 76 points in their last game. Villanova, 73 points in the first game, 84 points in their second game. So kind of like Oregon State, getting better offensively, where Baylor kind of a little worse offensively. 79 points, 76 points, going down a little bit. So, hey, we'll take Villanova plus the 8 here. They've had time to prepare. They've had a week to prepare for these games, folks. If you don't think they're going to keep it close, I think you're sadly mistaken a little bit, or maybe we're sadly mistaken. We'll see what happens at the end of the day, but we're going to take the points here. Plus 6.5 for Oregon State, plus 8 for Villanova. Oral Roberts in Arkansas. Oral Roberts is on the tear, folks. They are ready for the upset. They want all the smokes. That's who ORU is. I forgot who that was, but I mean, they upset Ohio State, put up 75 points. Then they went and upset Florida. They put up 81 points. Arkansas out of the gate put up 85 points, and then in their second meeting went down to 68 points. So we get 11.5 here by Oral Roberts. Let the Cinderella story continue here. So many points here, and they've shown that they can score a lot of points. So that's really what we're looking at. We can see you put up a lot of points, and you're getting like 5 or more points here. We're going to take these points. I don't know if we're looking like clowns here saying this. We'll know, like we said, we'll know by the end of tonight, but I'm taking all these lots of points who's shown that they can put up a lot of points offensively, and we get more points on top of that. I'm all about it. And then the last game of the night, Syracuse and Houston. And oh man, Syracuse, they've impressed me. I liked what I saw from them. So here we go. The first two games, Houston putting up 87 points in the first game and then only 63 in their second game. So once again, that kind of the better team losing their offensive scoring capabilities a little bit there in the second round. Let's see what Syracuse did. 78 points in the first game, 75 points in their second game. So once again, they went down as well. So maybe we stay away from this one, or let's double down. We say if you got more than one Jim, if you got a Jim Boeheim on your team, if you got a Boeheim on your team, you need to take it. And then if you get two, that's going to be a W, folks. So I don't know, man. I think Syracuse keeps it a little interesting here. We'll take the 6.5. So we're going to be taking the points here for all four games. Oregon State plus 6.5, Villanova plus 8, Oral Roberts plus 11.5, and Syracuse plus 6.5. I mean, anything can happen in March Madness. These teams have had about a week to prepare. We've seen that they were able to kind of put up a lot of points in their first and second games, and we get points here. We'll take all these points here. We're getting a lot of points here. If it was only like 2 or 3, we would probably stay away from it, but we're getting 6, 8, 11.5. Come on, we got to take that. So that's our moneymaker for the NCAA tournament that is resuming today. Alrighty, let's see what happened in the NBA yesterday. And then we'll do our moneymaker for the NBA, and then we'll do our NBA power rankings. And then if we have time at the end of the show, we will finally watch Elijah Molden, safety from Washington, in our NFL draft prospect of the day. So here we go. The NBA of last night, James Harden, another win, and the man had 44 points. Yes, sir. Single-handedly carrying this team to victory. No Kyrie, classic. No Kevin Durant, even more classic. And James Harden gets another win by his lonesome. Give this man the credit, the respect he deserves. The Nets win 113-111. Let's see what the Nets did here. Like we said, James Harden, 44 points, 8 assists, 14 rebounds, 46% shooting, and 4 of 11 from 3, so I'll give it to him. Bruce Brown, filling in for the no Kyrie Irving, 7 points on 28% shooting. DeAndre Jordan, 10 points, 9 rebounds. Jeff Green, 8 points, 3 rebounds. Joe Harris, 9 points. He only took 8 shots, hit 2 of 3 from 3. So, I mean, it's his starting lineup. I mean, besides James Harden, we get Bruce Brown 7, DeAndre Jordan 10, Jeff Green 8, and Joe Harris 9. I mean, nobody's really picking up the slack there in the points department. James Harden really having to do it all. And then off the bench, I mean, man, oh man, Blake Griffin, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Where has this Blake Griffin been all the time? He hit 2 of 2 from 3. How crazy. He's being better by 3, and we have to give it up for James Harden. Blake Griffin was not playing this well and efficient there in Detroit in any single game that he played there. And now, just a couple of games in with the Nets, and James Harden has this man right back on track. Which other MVP candidate would make Blake Griffin a serviceable bench player? Nobody. Come on, man. So got to give the respect to James Harden. He's making Blake Griffin work. He's filling in these holes without Kyrie Irving and definitely without Kevin Durant because he's barely been playing here. So got to give it up to this man. James Harden, MVP front runner. Come on, truly. Alrighty, and then the Pistons, kind of a close game here. Mason Plumlee was actually playing very good all game. Been really kind of impressed with Mason Plumlee, and now I kind of want him off the Pistons so we can kind of go to another team and kind of, let them be eligible to kind of, maybe make the playoffs. So get Mason Plumlee out of Detroit. Unfortunately, the trade deadline just did pass, so probably going to be on here for the rest of the season. But get free Mason Plumlee. Get that going for this offseason. Hopefully they get hopefully they get rid of him because Detroit is trash. So here we go. Jeremy Grant, 19 points on 35% shooting. Saddiq Bey, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Mason Plumlee, the 13 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Love it. Wayne Ellington, 9 points. Rodney McGruder, 7 points. I mean, they just really didn't have that 44-point player in James Harden. So that's why the Pistons lose. Nothing really great off their bench. Let's shout out Frank Jackson, 14 points off the bench. We'll give it to him. But the Nets beat the Pistons 113-111. Alrighty, then we get the Suns and the Raptors now. Suns, Raptors, little close here. Suns are able to get the win. Alrighty, let's start here with the Suns. Chris Paul, 19 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds on 50% shooting. Devin Booker, 16 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton, 19 points, 9 rebounds. Jay Crowder, 8 points. McCall Bridges, 11.7 rebounds. So the starters having some great performances out here. And I just kind of want to take a little bit of a side note here. Would this Suns team be winning as many games as they are right now if Chris Paul or Devin Booker were kind of constantly in and out of the starting lineup? Because I don't think they would. If you take Chris Paul out, I think the Suns are a little lackluster. If you take the Devin Booker out of this team, I think they're a little lackluster. So once again, James Harden is kind of like, the Suns without one of those two players, but he's still winning games. That's why we have to really respect him for an MVP candidate. So the starting lineup here for the Suns was very good. Bench, little lackluster, a little bit. Nobody in double-digit scoring off the bench, unfortunately. Cameron Payne, only 4 points off the bench. Cameron Johnson, 7 points off the bench. Dario Saric, 8 points. Torrey Craig, 4. And Langston Galloway, 8 points off the bench. We know, both Camerons and Dario Saric, they can give us those 10-plus points off the bench, and that's kind of what they need. Luckily, they were able to kind of escape here with a 4-point win over the Raptors. But the bench is going to be the only problem that the Suns run into in the playoffs. If the bench is not stepping up and providing great kind of double-digit performances in the points column, the Suns may get hung up somewhere in probably maybe the second round. Hopefully that doesn't happen because I love what the Suns team is doing. Alrighty, then we get the Raptors now. Gary Trent Jr., first game with the Raptors, immediately in the starting lineup. And didn't play the greatest. 8 points, no assists, no rebounds, shot 36%, 0 of 5 from 3, a -3 in the plus-minus. So he didn't have the best game, decent game. But, first game there, we can give you a little bit of a slide. Alrighty, Fred VanVleet, 22 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Kyle Lowry, 11 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Pascal Siakam, 26 points, 6 assists, 11 rebounds. He is really thriving there at the center position. And then OG Anunoby, 15 points, 7 rebounds. So everybody in the starting lineup did pretty good. Unfortunately, Gary Trent Jr., kind of the worst there in the starting lineup. But like we said, we'll give him a little bit of a pass there since it's his first game in a new team. Alrighty, and then off the bench, Rodney Hood, his first game here with the Raptors, getting a little bit of depth, but only played 18 minutes, 2 points, no assists, 1 rebound, only took 2 shots. So we'll see how he plays here. Chris Boucher off the bench, 5 points, 3 rebounds. And that was really it. I mean, Aaron Baines had 6 points, 4 rebounds as well. Starters, that's what the Raptors are. They all are just starters. Their bench really doesn't get any serviceable, really great performances consistently. That's why they're not in the playoffs. So we'll see if Rodney Hood's able to kind of do anything here off the bench with Chris Boucher and Aaron Baines. And we'll see if Gary Trent Jr. can get up to that kind of starting potential that they're losing with Norman Powell. But the Suns get the win 104-100. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Celtics, Bucks. Celtics get the win 122-114, and I was a little disappointed that the Bucks did not win this game. Celtics first game without Daniel Tice and having Robert Williams elevated to that starting lineup, and they still were not able to get the win. No Evan Fournier yet here for the Celtics either, and the Bucks at home weren't able to beat a little bit of a lackluster Celtics team. So let's start here with the Celtics. Kemba Walker, 21 points. Once again, he's still taking a lot of threes. 3 of 10 from 3. Jeez. So Kemba Walker, 21 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. Marcus Smart had a great game. 23 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds. Shot 7 of 10 from 3. Yes, that's who I want taking 10 threes, not Kemba Walker. Alrighty, Robert Williams, first game in the starting lineup here at the center position. 7 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, 5 blocks, 9 rebounds on 60% shooting. Like I said, we've been liking what we've been seeing from Robert Williams probably the last 2 weeks coming off the bench. And, that I think that may have given the Celtics a little bit of confidence to trade away Daniel Tice, who's been in the starting lineup the entire season. So very well done to Robert Williams. A pretty great game out here. A plus 19 in the plus minus, even though, this was a big old win for them. Definitely got to give it a shout out to the plus 19 there. Great work here by Robert Williams, and honestly, I'm all about him. I'm gonna start rooting for the Celtics team now. I want to see what Robert Williams can do. 2 years experience, 3rd year in the league. So we'll see what this man can do here. Like we said, you really don't start making a true impact as kind of an NBA player till your kind of 3rd or 4th season here, and that's where Robert Williams is in right now. So we'll see if he's kind of able to kind of tie this entire team together. Alrighty, Jason Tatum back to having great performances. I mean, we haven't seen a 30-point performance by this man in a long time. So Jason Tatum, 34 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds on 72% shooting. Magnificent performance by him, and really the reason why they won this game. And then Jaylen Brown getting it done as well, 18 points, 5 rebounds on 40% shooting, and 4 of 9 from 3. So really everybody in the starting lineup had an absolute great performance there. That was enough to kind of carry them over this Bucks team. Now off the bench, Grant Williams had 7 points and 4 rebounds. And Taco Fall, look at this, him getting 8 minutes into this game, really didn't do anything. 2 points and 1 rebound, a little bit of bad defense as well, -6 on the floor in only 8 minutes of play, not the greatest. Peyton Pritchard, 7 points, 3 rebounds as well off the bench, but that starting lineup for the Celtics, I mean, when they're all on, they can be pretty dangerous, and that's what they just showed last night against the Bucks. Alrighty, now let's talk about the Bucks now. Giannis, 16 points, light there, 5 assists, light there, 8 rebounds, light there. Couldn't really get it done. 1 of 3 from 3, a little too much there. 3 of 6 from the free throw line. Come on, got to be better than 50%. So Giannis, a little bit of a lackluster game. Chris Middleton, 19 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds on 63% shooting. He shot 4 or 5 from 3. He's been having some great kind of 3-point nights here in this kind of 8-game winning stretch that they were on until last night that finally snapped it. Brook Lopez, 6 points, 6 rebounds, kind of getting destroyed by Robert Williams all games. Love seeing that. Dante DiVincenzo, 13 points on 3 of 9 from 3. Not really truly great. And then Drew Holiday, 17 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He shot 58% and 3 of 6 from 3, so not terrible overall. And then off their bench, Thaddeus Antetokounmpo. Yes, sir. Him getting a lot of minutes there. 17 minutes. Love seeing that. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and he was a +9 off the bench. So fantastic. We're seeing the other Antetokounmpo out here for the Bucks. And then Sam Merrill, 15 points in 19 minutes off the bench. I'll give it to him, too. So some great performances out here, or some decent performances here by the Bucks starters. Actually, do we even say decent? Chris Middleton wasn't in 20-plus points. Giannis didn't hit 20-plus points. Dante DiVincenzo went 3 of 9 from 3. Yeah, so maybe not great overall by the Bucks team. We'll say not a great overall. So they lose by the Celtics. Not great here. Truly disappointing in the Bucks. And I was ready to move this Bucks team up very highly in our power rankings, but this loss here, a little concerning. And a little concerning that this was in a second game, and I believe in a back-to-back with the Celtics, and they only beat the Celtics the first time by like 2 points there. So not great that you're not beating the Celtics decently consistently there. Alrighty, next game up is the Heat and the Hornets. And do we have a clip from this game? No. But the Hornets, I mean, another win without LaMelo Ball. This is 3 straight wins since LaMelo Ball has gotten kind of injured and out for possibly the rest of the season, and another win. So got to give a lot of credit here to the Hornets, and we'll see if they're able to kind of make a move here in our power rankings. But let's start here with Devontae Graham, 16 points, 8 assists. Terry Rozier, 26 points, 11 assists, and he kind of hit a game-clinching 3-pointer to kind of put it away at the end of the fourth quarter. So fantastic by Terry Rozier. I mean, he's been having some wonderful performances here this season. Bismack Biyombo still in the starting lineup instead of Cody Zeller. 2 points and 7 rebounds, a -6 on the floor. Alrighty. PJ Washington, 8 points, 5 rebounds, and Gordon Hayward, 11 points, 9 rebounds. But then off the bench, Malik Monk, yes, sir, gets it done. 32 huge points on 70% shooting. Magnificent game by him. And then Miles Bridges getting in on the action as well off the bench, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Cody Zeller, in only 12 minutes, put up 5 points and 7 rebounds. So well done to Cody Zeller. Hornets are rolling right now, 3-game winning streak or 4-game winning streak. So fantastic here by the Hornets. Absolutely love it. They're winning games here. Now, they haven't been beating the best competition here, just beating the Spurs, the Rockets, and the Heat in their last 3 games without LaMelo Ball. But, hey, we're not going to penalize you for doing what you're supposed to do. Winning games without one of your main premier players that you've been rocking with all season that was so great, that was elevated up to off the bench to the starting rotation. So, fantastic work by the Hornets here for another win. All right, but the Heat, oh my goodness, they are sputtering big ol' hard. This is like a 7-game losing streak for them. It's really not great out here for this Heat team. 6-game losing streak has fallen all the way down to the 8th seed. Now the Pacers are only basically a half a game back by the Heat there for the 8-9 spot. So we'll see what happens. The Heat need to clean it up. We know Victor Oladipo is going to be joining them kind of any minute now, and they are desperately looking forward to him. So Heat from last night, Jimmy Butler, 20 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. He shot 43%. He took 8 threes. Very uncharacteristic of him. So little reason possibly why they lost there. Trevor Ariza here, 14 points, 5 assists, 9 rebounds. Love seeing this man having some good performance. He shot 41%, 2 of 7 from threes, not great, but everything else was pretty good. Plus, he was a plus 16 in a loss, so great defense here. Trevor Ariza is already better than Kelly Olynyk there at the 4, and I'm all about it. This Heat team is going to be real dangerous. Once Victor Oladipo gets here, what's his face? Goran Dragic starts to get back playing consistent minutes, because that's kind of before Victor Oladipo got here. That's what we were talking about. Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic both need to be playing. No Goran Dragic, no win. I'm telling y'all. So once Victor Oladipo starts to get playing, once Goran Dragic is back, I mean, this is going to be a dangerous, great team, folks. Man, oh man, this is going to be one of the best teams in the East. Probably one of the best rosters in the East. I'll say that. Trevor Ariza, Jimmy Butler, both pretty solid performances here. Bam Adebayo, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Duncan Robinson, 20 points. He had 6 of 9 from 3, so finally he steps up. Kendrick Nunn, 10 points, no assists, no rebounds, only played 15 minutes. He does get injured there late in the second quarter, so that's why he only played 15 minutes, and they may have won if he stayed in the game, so little interesting there. Tyler Hero, a little floundered a little bit. 13 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. That's all decent. 1 of 5 from 3, not the greatest. And then nobody else really stepping it up too much off the bench. But, I mean, once you get to Goran Dragic and Victor Oladipo, now you're a little bit deeper as well off the bench. So they're going to be fine, folks. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. You'll have Duncan Robinson coming off the bench. You'll have probably Kendrick Nunn or Goran Dragic coming off the bench. So this is going to be a good team, folks. Just be patient. Be patient. They're kind of figuring it all out. They had Jimmy Butler kind of out in kind of the first half of the season. Goran Dragic also kind of in and out of the starting lineup. Now they get their third piece there in Victor Oladipo. The Heat are fine, folks. The Heat are fine. They're still in the playoffs right now. Got to give it up for them. All right, and they're only going to get better, unfortunately. Unfortunately for everybody else, they're only going to get better. Alrighty, now we go to the Blazers and the Magic now. Let's start. We got a clip? No clip. All right, so Blazers and Magic. We'll start here with the Blazers. A nice win for them. No Damian Lillard. No Damian Lillard, and they still get the win. Fantastic. So Norman Powell's first game here with the Blazers. Starting rotation, starting minutes, 22 points, 1 assist, 2 rebounds, shot 53% in 5 of 7 from 3. Fantastic. Actually was the leading scorer of the squad, tied with CJ McCollum here with 22 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. CJ McCollum shot 2 of 11 from 3, so he's not having great success here from the 3 ball ever since he's really came back, but still we got to give it up for him for the 22 points. I'll give him that. All right, Jusuf Nurkic finally back in the starting lineup here for the Blazers, so they're really starting to get right at the right time, so watch out for this Blazers team. So Nurkic, 8 points, 8 rebounds, first game back, love it. Only played 18 minutes as well. Robert Covington, 15 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. And then Derrick Jones Jr., 7 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Shot well, 50%, 2 of 3 from 3. So we're going to be interesting to see kind of where Derrick Jones Jr. falls when Damian Lillard kind of gets back in this game. Kind of interesting that he didn't play. But Enes Kanter coming off the bench, 15 points, 15 rebounds. I mean, folks, I know he played a little bit of extended minutes since Nurkic is probably on minutes restriction. But, I mean, Enes Kanter coming off the bench, it's going to be great, especially with Carmelo Anthony. Even though Carmelo had a little bit of a lackluster night, 8 points and 2 assists. And then Anthony Simmons, 15 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds off the bench, 5 of 7 from 3. So this Blazers team, man, they're going to be so freaking great, so deep. Oh, my goodness. Norman Powell's already fitting in right. Jusuf Nurkic is already getting back to shape. So, man, oh, man, I cannot wait. Oof, the Blazers, man. Watch out for them. I love what they're doing. And if they finish in the top 6 here, or in the top 4 of the of the top 4 seeds in the West, we're going to look at giving Damian Lillard the MVP of kind of waiting it out and getting them right and kind of still in the playoff mix while, they were, getting Nurkic and McCollum back and then making the trade for Norman Powell. So if they finish off very well, if they start to win game after game after game after game and are high up in that kind of playoff positioning, we got to get it up for Damian Lillard. Alrighty, and then the Magic now with nobody. First game here with the Magic with literally nobody on the roster. This is the Magic new starting roster here. Chasson Randle at the 1, Dwayne Bacon at the 2, James Ennis is the only person still here at the 3, Chuma Okeke at the 4, and Kem Birch at the 5. That's their new starting lineup, folks. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's see who is going to be starting to make a name for themselves for the Magic to be the next big player traded by the Magic next season. So here we go. Chasson Randle, 10 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Shot 50%. Not bad. Dwayne Bacon, 17 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Shot 36% from the field. Kem Birch, 14 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Okay, Kem Birch. Yes, sir. We may have a new big emerging here in the Magic, so we'll keep an eye on him. Chuma Okeke, 22 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds on 60% shooting. James Ennis III, 18 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds on 60% shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. So, alrighty, I might be about this starting lineup, folks. Players stepping it up when their names are called. I love it. Then we're going to see more Mo Bamba. He came off the bench, 22 minutes, 11 points, 4 rebounds. Nice work. Michael Carter-Williams coming back here as well. 11 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds in 28 minutes. We'll take that. He didn't shoot well, 30%, 4 of 13 from the field. But, okay, this Magic team a little bit better without everybody. How crazy is that? No Aaron Gordon, no Vucevic, no Evan Fournier, but I love what I saw from Kem Birch. James Ennis III had a good game. Chuma Okeke had a good game. Mo Bamba coming off the bench with 11 points. I'm about it. Alrighty. We got a nice squad here in Orlando. Watch out for them. Watch out for the Orlando Magic. I never thought I'd be saying that, but and especially without everybody there, but I kind of liked it. And they only lost by 7 points. Not bad. Alrighty, up next is Rockets and the Timberwolves. Rockets a little close here. Unfortunately, still couldn't get the win. Unfortunately. The Rockets really just fell off in that fourth quarter. I mean, look at this. They only put up 10 points. They put up 10 points in the fourth quarter. You're not winning a game like that. But, I mean, they had a great kind of second and third quarter, outscoring Minnesota 34-21 in the second quarter. Outscoring them 28-22 in the third quarter, but that fourth quarter, they really just collapsed. So unfortunate there, no closers on that Rockets team. So let's start here with the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns, 29 points, 8 assists, 16 rebounds, had a great night, really kind of propelled them in the fourth quarter to a win. Anthony Edwards back to being not great, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on 23% shooting, 2 of 7 from 3. So let's all relax on Anthony Edwards being like the undoubtable rookie of the year. It's only because LaMelo Ball got injured, unfortunately for him. Ricky Rubio, 2 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, but 0-7 from the field. Only got to the line twice. That's where those 2 points come from. Jared Vanderbilt, 5 points, 3 rebounds. Jalen McDaniels, 14 points, 4 rebounds. Off the bench, they got some nice contributions from Naz Reid with 16 points off the bench, and Juancho Hernangomez with 19 points and 9 rebounds off the bench. But it was really just that poor scoring fourth quarter by the Rockets that made them lose. So we still are decently kind of on this Rockets team. Now that the dust has settled, no Victor Oladipo, Christian Wood is back, John Wall is kind of the premier player on this team, so now we know what they are. We can start buying them decently a little bit more here. We just took them +4 in our moneymaker last night. Unfortunately, does not hit because they had that poor fourth quarter and they lose by 6. But we were still really kind of on target with that pick just until the fourth quarter. So we were still right about it. Unfortunately, they couldn't close out. So here we go. Rockets. John Wall, 14 points, 15 assists. Okay, that's what he needs to start doing. Shot awful, 24% on 25 shots. Absolutely trash. But I'll give him those 15 assists. We'll see if he can kind of, get his James Harden on, but he's got to be way more efficient than this. This is trash. Ben McLemore, 21 points, 3 assists. Christian Wood, 24 points, 9 rebounds. Yes, sir. Back to his old self there. Love seeing that. Jashawn Tate, 10 points, 7 rebounds, and then Sterling Brown, 11 points and 11 rebounds. Liked seeing him getting it done in the starting lineup. That's what we're about there. So, and then off the bench, let's shout out DJ Augustine with the 13 points. So we'll see what this Rockets team can do going forward, but I'm a little decently interested in them. So we'll see what's up. Alrighty, then let's go to the Nuggets and the Pelicans. We got a nice clip here, and we've seen this time and time by this Pelicans team. I mean, like blowing games. I mean, let's first go to this box score because I believe this Nuggets team came back in the fourth quarter a little bit, outscoring them 28-22, and just in the third quarter as well. So the second half, Nuggets outscoring the Pelicans 31-23 in that third quarter, 28-22 in that fourth quarter as well. So once again, this Pelicans team blowing the game, not finishing. That's what we're seeing. And not only are they not finishing, but nobody wants to take that last shot. And this is another time. This is like the third time we've seen it all season when they have a chance to either win or tie the game with the last second shot, and they get no shot off, or they get a very, very poor shot off because everybody's passing to everybody else and nobody wants to be that man to take it. So we're seeing no experience here, no real leadership here on this team, a young team where nobody's really taking command over, and that's why we got to kind of say, I know Lonzo Ball didn't play this game, so I guess we can't say it now. But Lonzo Ball, I don't really get the attraction of everybody really wanting him at the trade deadline. He doesn't really kind of improve the team overall. So somebody's got to step up here and be the true leader on the floor. Not really seeing that. Somebody's got to step up and take the last shot. So here we go. Nuggets up 111-108 with only down 3. Pelicans down 3 with 13 seconds left, and they have the ball. So they inbound the ball here. The shot clock's winding down. It's at 5 seconds now, and look at this, passing the ball around. Nobody's wanting to take the shot. The shot clock is winding down, and everybody's lackluster and careless out there, and they don't even get a shot off to try and tie this game with the 3 ball. So nobody wants to take this last shot. Nobody wants to kind of be the leader here on this team, and that's why the Pelicans, I mean, we can't buy them, we can't believe in them, we can't bet them, we can't root for them because they're not showing us anything great. And another loss here against a top opponent team. Not great here by this Pelicans team. Super underwhelming this season. But let's start here with the Nuggets. Jamal Murray, 23 points, 11 assists. Great night by him, shooting 55% from the field. Will Barton, only 5 points. Not great there, but he played great defense. We see a plus 23 in the plus minus. I mean, really, it was just kind of crazy. I mean, everybody in the starting lineup was big ol' in the big old plus minus category and only a 3-point win. So really got it done in the second half. But here we go. Continuing on. Jokic, 37 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 56% on 30 shots. Oh, my goodness. Paul Millsap, 16 points, 7 rebounds. Yes, sir. And then Michael Porter Jr. still getting it done, even with all those other great performances. 25 points, second leading scorer for the squad. 5 rebounds on 58% shooting and 5 of 6 from 3. So Michael Porter's like, hey, I know we just got, who they just get? Who did they just get? Darn it, I'm blanking. It wasn't Vucevic. It was Aaron Gordon? Aaron Gordon went to the Nuggets, right? Yes, Aaron Gordon went to the Nuggets, so we'll see kind of where he's going to fit here in this lineup here. But Michael Porter Jr. is like, you're not coming after my starting spot because I just dropped 25 points here. What's up? What's up? You can take Paul Millsap's spot, but you're not taking my number 3 spot. If I have to go down to the number 4, that's fine, but I'm not going down back to that bench. So really going to be interesting to see kind of how they shake up this starting lineup. Paul Millsap's probably going to go down to the bench, most likely. All right, so nice kind of comeback win for this Nuggets team. Now we go to the Pelicans now. Let's see what went wrong with them. We see Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the starting lineup for Lonzo Ball at the 1. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 14 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds on 38% shooting, 4 of 10 from 3. Not terrible overall. He also had 2 steals and 2 blocks to go along with that. So kind of like what Lonzo Ball brings you. Nothing more, nothing really less than that. Eric Bledsoe, 16 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. He shot 45% from the field, so finally a decent game by Eric Bledsoe, I would say. Steven Adams, 8 points, 4 rebounds. Zion Williamson, 39 points, 5 assists, 10 rebounds on 84% shooting. Man, oh man, this is the most efficient score in NBA history. I don't care. I've already seen enough. 2 years in, already the most efficient score. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this man shoot below 70%, honestly, and he's putting up 25, 30, 35, 39 points. This man is getting it done, so truly respect to Zion. This man's going to have a great future. And I know we all know that, or we all think we know that, and it all kind of predicted that. But man, oh man, this man is truly getting it done here. Super disappointing that they're not even in the playoffs right now. Currently, where are they even at? Currently, the 12 seeds are not even in the play-in tournament. They're not even in the play-in tournament, man. Ugh. But all right, let's keep going here. Brandon Ingram, 13 points on 29% shooting, really kind of laid an egg there. And then off the bench, Josh Hart, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Just once again, Lonzo Ball not playing. I don't want to say it's hurting them, but makes them a little less deep there. Jackson Hayes only playing 6 minutes off the bench. I definitely want to see Jackson Hayes way more minutes here. Definitely think he can bring a lot to this team. So unfortunate there. The Pelicans lose. Nuggets win. Classic Pelicans game. Alrighty, let's move on to the Pacers and the Mavericks now. Pacers blowing out the Mavericks because the Mavericks had no Luka Doncic, and that's really all they are is Luka Doncic. That's it. So we can quickly go over this one. Let's do the Pacers first since they won. Karis LeVert, only 10 points. How crazy is that? He shot awfully. And that's kind of like we're saying every single time with Karis LeVert. He's really not translating too well from Brooklyn over here to the Pacers. But 10 points on 28% shooting, 5 rebounds. Malcolm Brogdon. 22.6 rebounds. Miles Turner, 9.7 rebounds. Domantas Sabonis back to his old self here. 22 points, 5 assists, 15 rebounds. Yes, sir. And then Justin Holiday, 6 points. But their bench really got it done and really kind of won them the game here. TJ McConnell, 10 points off the bench. Edmund Sumner, 10 points off the bench. Yes, sir. And then Doug McDermott, 12 points off the bench as well. So a nice 30-point production coming off the bench. Definitely helped out little lackluster Karis LeVert a little bit. So they're able to kind of beat the Mavericks because they had no Luka Doncic. So Jalen Brunson steps up in the starting rotation, only 10 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. Yeah, that's not what that's definitely a lot less than what Luka brings. Josh Richardson, 11 points. Kristaps Porzingis had a great game, obviously, since he's kind of the main factor now with no Luka Doncic. So Kristaps Porzingis, 31 points, 18 rebounds. Absolute monster performance. Unfortunately, still a loss. Maxi Kleber, 3 points, 6 rebounds. Dorian Finney-Smith, 8 points. Tim Hardaway Jr. steps it up once again off the bench. We definitely have to give this man contention for 6th man of the year because he's really getting it done off the bench. Didn't make a great starting player, but off the bench, 16 points, 5 rebounds in 22 minutes. I'll give it to him. So great night by Tim Hardaway Jr. We can always kind of rely on him off the bench, but nobody else. But unfortunate for the Mavericks, a loss there because of no Luka Doncic. In classic Pacers beating, kind of a better caliber team without their starting player. That's just classic Pacers right there. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Last 3 games to go. Here we go. Grizzlies, Jazz. Jazz get the win here, 117-114 against the Grizzlies. And once again, they're back to 500. Classic Grizzlies. Man, oh man, roller coaster of a season, game in and game out. And we get a nice little clip here. So here we go. Grizzlies down 3 points here with 10 seconds left. They have the ball down 117-114. Dylan Brooks is going to try a game-tying 3 here. He just hit the 3 before this to cut the 6-point deficit down to 3. He hits this one, unfortunately does not go. Then they get the rebound, and then it's game over from that point on. They do lose the tip as well, and that really ices the game. So they had a chance there. Dylan Brooks almost trying to tie it up, but the Grizzlies hold on, and that's what the Grizzlies are, man. They're just kind of like, they're always just that close away, not winning the games. They're always kind of one possession, or not really one possession. I can't really say that, but this Grizzlies team just not beating the better teams consistently. Let's just leave it at that. They're at 500, 21-21, losing, winning. Good team win, bad team lose. Good team win, bad team lose. Good team Or I mixed that up. Bad team win, good team lose. Yeah, I don't know if I said that, but whatever it is, y'all know what it's supposed to be. But let's just talk about these these stats now. John Morant, 32 points, 11 assists, 4 rebounds. I mean, great night. He shot well, 52% from the field. Didn't take a lot of threes. That's what we're talking about. Great number of points there. Grayson Allen had a pretty good game as well. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 of 9 from 3. Yes, sir. Jonas Valanciunas, 14 points, 18 rebounds. So far, everybody's doing great. Then we get to Kyle Anderson, 5 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. So all that's good. Only took 6 shots, hit 33%. And then Dylan Brooks, 22 points on 56% shooting, 3 of 8 from 3. Not terrible. Just couldn't hit the game-tying 3 at the end of the game. And then just comes down to their bench. Nothing really great there. Brandon Clark, leading scorer of the bench with 13 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. I'll give him that. That's great, but nobody else does anything great. Desmond Bane, 3 points. Justice Winslow, 4 points. Tyus Jones, 4 points. So can't really rely on the bench. That's why we can't really buy the Grizzlies too much. They have a great starting lineup. I love this starting lineup of Morant, Grayson Allen, Valanciunas, Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks. I think that's a fantastic starting lineup. They're not deep, so I'm a little disappointed that they didn't kind of try to get kind of a nice bench player at the trade deadline. So we'll see what they're able to do. But, at 500 here in the West, currently number 9 seed. I think they'll be in the play-in tournament. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, I mean, it's still a play-in tournament at the end of the day. Not guaranteed playoff position. So I'm rooting for the Grizzlies. I like them, but just unfortunately could not get it done here. So now let's talk about what do we got? The Jazz here, able to squeeze out a win here to keep their win streak up. Alrighty, Donovan Mitchell, 35 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds on 52% shooting, 5 of 7 from 3. So great night by him. Rudy Gobert, 25 points, 9 rebounds. Really just got it done in the offensive production there from Rudy Gobert. Mike Conley, only 5 points on very lackluster shooting, 15%, 2 of 13 from the field. Awful. But he did have 8 assists and 5 rebounds, so not terrible overall. Royce O'Neal, 10 points, or 2 points, 10 rebounds. Bojan Bogdanovic, 17 points, 4 rebounds. So not bad there. And then our 6th man of the year candidate, Jordan Clarkson, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Just not truly efficient there. 30% from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. Little light there. What else do we get here? Joe Ingles, 9 points off the bench, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Derek Favors, 7 points, 6 rebounds. So not terrible overall. Able to squeak out a win here over the Grizzlies. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Hawks and the Warriors, and still no Steph Curry, so the Hawks had no problem. So here we go. Trae Young, 21 points, 15 assists. Love that. Bogdan Bogdanovic, 11 points, 5 assists. Clint Capella, 18 points, 15 rebounds. John Collins, 38 points, 12 rebounds. Man, if John Collins keeps it up like he's been playing these last 2 weeks, we're big on this Hawks team. We just need to see them start to beat the better teams consistently. That's the only reason why we can't buy this Hawks team 100%. We can buy them like 55%. That's how crazy it is. Just because they've been beating kind of really bad teams, man. I mean, their best team in the last like 10 games have been the Clippers, and they lost to them by 9. Not great. Really wanted to see them beat that Clippers team. Unfortunately, they couldn't. So we still have to kind of, temper our expectations on this Atlanta Hawks team a little bit. And then Tony Snell to round out the starters, 5 points on 100% shooting. We'll give it to him. And then off the bench, Danilo Gallinari stepping up, 12 points. Love seeing that. That's where they kind of, lack as well. But we know that they just picked up Lou Williams, so we'll see kind of how he fits in. Probably Bogdan Bogdanovic is going to go down to the bench. And it's going to be Trae Young and Lou Williams at the starting guard. So I'm all about that. So we'll see how that kind of turns it around. Let's see if Bogdan Bogdanovic and Danilo Gallinari can kind of really just be great off the bench and kind of be that depth that they need to start winning games a little bit more consistently against the better teams. So they definitely have the tools to be good and decent and make a nice little kind of playoff run. But we'll see what happens when Lou Williams gets there. And then the last game of the night, the Lakers and the Cavs. And man, oh man, the Cavs, man, they're absolutely trash. They're so trash, man. Can't even beat the Lakers with no AD and LeBron. There's no reason why any team should be losing against this Lakers team. There's really just nothing. So let's start here with the Lakers. Let's see who stepped up here. Dennis Schroeder, 17 points, 4 steals, 7 assists, 5 rebounds on good shooting, 58% from the field. Yes, sir. KCP, 7 points on 25% shooting. Lackluster. Obviously, we can't really trust him. Marc Gasol, 4 points, 2 rebounds. Get that man out of the starting lineup. I hate that man. I hate that man. Montrezl Harrell, I want to see that man starting. I know they need him off the bench. I know it. I get it. I don't like it. Markieff Morris, 13 points, 5 rebounds. And Kyle Kuzma, 4 points. Come on, Kuz. 7 assists, 8 rebounds. That's all good, but 4 points on 28% shooting, 0 of 3 from 3. Come on, man. Alrighty, and then off the bench, some great contributions here. Talen Horton-Tucker, 15 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and then Montrezl Harrell, 6 man. He's got to be the 6th man of the year. I'm kind of over it now. Jordan Clarkson's kind of been falling off. He had a great first half of the season, don't get us wrong, but kind of really been, not doing as much as he's been doing. But Montrezl Harrell's really stepping it up here. Obviously, he's getting more minutes and more kind of touches because of no Anthony Davis, but he's stepping it up every single time. So I'm not going to penalize him for that. No, I'm going to elevate him for that. So Montrezl Harrell, 6th man of the year. Montrezl Harrell and Tim Hardaway Jr. definitely need to be up there. Montrezl Harrell definitely above Tim Hardaway Jr. I shouldn't have even said that, but if I'm ranking it, Montrezl Harrell 1, Thaddeus Young 2, Jordan Clarkson 3, Tim Hardaway Jr. 4. That's how I see it right now. But Montrezl Harrell, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 7 of those offensive. Second more chance points helps him out a lot there. Alrighty, now let's go to the Cavs now. Absolutely trash. Jared Allen, 13 points, 11 rebounds. That's what we like to see, but everybody else just absolutely garbage here. Darius Garland, they still have no Colin Sexton, so that's a huge reason why they're losing. Darius Garland, 14 points, 5 assists. Isaac Okoro, 6 points, 2 assists. Larry Nance Jr., 17 points, 5 assists, 10 rebounds. He's starting to get acclimated here. So now that once Colin Sexton gets back, we'll see if Larry Nance Jr. can kind of keep up this good production that he's been having. And then C.D. Osman, this man cannot shoot. This man, I know LeBron likes him, but man, oh man, this man cannot shoot. 6 points on 25% shooting. Garbage. So he cannot be in the start. He's a starting liability, I'll tell you. Alrighty, and then off the bench, really nothing. Quinn Cook, 9 points. I'll give him that. That's really it. So trash Cavs team, we know that. Alrighty, let's quickly see what's on tap today here for the NBA. We'll quickly do our moneymaker because I do want to get into our power rankings. It doesn't look like we are going to be able to... Doesn't really look like we're going to be able to get to our NFL draft prospect of the day, so we're going to have to postpone that again. Man, this March Madness is really kind of messing with us, but we knew that going into this. We knew we were going to have to kind of take a couple days off. I thought we were going to actually take like the rest of this March Madness off, but we have been able to fit a couple of other draft prospects in the meantime. But let's get to our moneymaker for the NBA. We had a nice little moneymaker going for our college games on today, but let's see what's going on professionally. No nationally televised games, which is, to be expected with March Madness being on. So here we go. Let's see what we get. Let's refresh these lines. Let's see what we get. For the last time before we exit these out, we are taking all the points here in the NCAA. We get Oregon State plus 6.5, Villanova plus 8, Oral Roberts plus 11.5, and Syracuse plus 6.5. We're loving all the points there. So let's go to the NBA, refresh these lines, get these lines up to date. Get these lines up to date. Alrighty, here we go. First matchup up, Bucks. Knicks plus 9. Woof. Bucks minus 9. Interesting. Bucks just had a very lackluster performance against the Celtics last night. Derrick Rose, game time decision. Hopefully he's back, man. I mean, I want to see what this man can do. He played 3 games, was looking good, got into the starting lineup, but then just out after that. So coach's decision on a game time decision. So that's interesting. Reggie Bullock, game time decision. Elfrid Payton, game time decision. Nerlens Noel, game time decision. Julius Randle, game time decision. So a lot of kind of question marks up there for the Knicks, which we know we really kind of need everybody playing. Their starters, their bench. We need everybody involved if they want a chance to win. Alrighty, and then for the Bucks, PJ Tucker, game time decision. Bobby Portis, game time decision. So think we're going to stay away from this one. No real great value here. Knicks plus 9 seems very appetizing, but the Bucks are just coming off of a loss and just too many game time decisions there for that Knicks team. I'm sure most of them play. But the Knicks against kind of the upper echelon teams have still not been able to get it done, so we'll stay away from that one. Not really great value there. Alrighty, then we get the Pistons and the Wizards. Probably staying away from this one heavy too. Pistons plus 3.5, Wizards minus 3.5. It's just two trash teams. You're not going to get any great value with two trash teams going against each other. So for the Pistons, Jahlil Okafor is still out, classic. Dennis Smith is a game time decision. For the Wizards, Ish Smith is still out. Davis Bertans is still out. Bradley Beal's a game time decision, so that's interesting. So like we said, just two trash teams, no great value. We're not going to try and just force value there, so we'll stay away from that game as well. All right, that brings us to Rockets and the Timberwolves. Rockets plus 4.5, Timberwolves minus 4.5. So a back-to-back on back-to-back days, so we definitely stay away from it. We saw the Rockets. The Rockets were in total control of that Timberwolves game last night. It was just that fourth quarter they got outscored by like 20-plus points. You're going to lose every single game because of that. So we have to stay away from this one because it is in a back-to-back. We love the Rockets plus 4.5. Last night it bit us in the butt because they could not close. We're not going to fall for that again. Alrighty, and then we get the Bulls and the Spurs here. Bulls plus 2, Spurs minus 2. Alrighty, let's see if everybody's going to go for this Bulls team because they just got new players. Is Vucevic is good to go? We'll take the 2 points there for the Bulls. Let's see what we get. Alrighty, Zach LaVine, a game-time decision, and Daniel Tice is out for the Bulls, so he's not making his debut, but Valanciunas should be able to rock, and if Valanciunas is good to go, I'm sure Zach LaVine is going to play. Alrighty, and then for the Spurs, just Lonnie Walker is still out, so that's really it. Yeah, we're going to take the Bulls plus 2.5 here, or just plus 2 here. I want to see what Vucevic can do here. We like Thaddeus Young going back down to that kind of bench role now that Valanciunas is, or Vucevic is going to be playing there. So, yes, sir. Let's get it. Vucevic's first game. We're here for it. So, Bulls plus 2. The energy is going to be there. Alrighty, next game up, Grizzlies and Jazz in a back-to-back again. So we'll stay away from this one. We won't even entertain it. But Grizzlies plus 9. Gosh darn. Gosh darn. Are we sure about this? We might take this now. Let's see. Everybody's going to go for the Grizzlies. Everybody's going to go for the Jazz. But that back-to-back, we really don't like taking those. So we'll stay away from it. Even though that Grizzlies plus 9's calling us. Darn. Are we going to get suckered in? Ugh. They were playing good. But that bench, though. Ugh. Can't trust that Grizzlies bench. We'll stay away from it. Alrighty, then we get the Celtics and the Thunder. Celtics minus 4.5. Thunder plus 4.5. Alrighty, let's see if everybody's good to go here. Tristan Thompson is still out for the Celtics, so, still Robert Williams is going to get the bulk of the play there. Evan Fournier, game time decision. He going to play? Let's see. Semi Ulujay, game time decision also. Alrighty, then the Thunder. Austin Rivers, a game time decision. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is out, so that's all we need to see. Let's swallow the 4.5 here for the Celtics. A great performance beating the Bucks last night. Now you're going to get your key piece that you brought in. I expect great things from Robert Williams here. Who does he have to go against? Al Horford? Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that matchup. I got the Celtics minus 4.5 here. No Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, no leader for the Thunder, no offense for the Thunder. We'll take the Celtics and swallow the 4.5 points there. Alrighty, then we get the Mavericks and the Pelicans. Alrighty, let's see if who's ready to rock. Alrighty, for the Mavericks, JJ Redick is still out there. Willie Cauley-Stein is a game-time decision. Porzingis is the game-time decision. Luka Doncic is a game-time decision. So it looks like Porzingis may not play here because for the reason for the game-time decision is rest. So, he's probably not going to go. So now for the Pelicans, Lonzo Ball is still out. So this is a little interesting. A little bit of too many game time decisions for me to kind of bet the Mavericks here. So I think we'll stay away from it. I just can't trust the Pelicans right now, y'all. I'm telling you, we cannot trust them. They cannot close out games. Nobody's a true leader on this team. And if Luka Doncic is back for the Mavericks, that's all they need. So we'll stay away from this one. Porzingis and Doncic being game time decisions. Can't really get great value there solidified, so we'll stay away from that. Alrighty, last two games up here. Here we go. Cavs and the Kings. Cavs plus 8. Kings minus 8. We know the Kings are so great offensively, and this Cavs team is just absolutely trash here. So let's see who's in and out here. Kevin Love, game time decision. Matthew Dellavedova, game time decision. Colin Sexton, a game time decision. So we'll see what's going to happen there. And then for the Kings, Maurice Harkless, game time decision. Delon Wright, game time decision. Marvin Bagley still out. So a lot of game time decisions for both of these teams. Can't really solidify great value there. And we know this Cavs team has trouble scoring some games. Like they've had like 3 games out of the last 10 that they put up only like 80 points. That's trash. Where this Kings team is dropping 140, 130, 120. They got no problem with the offense. They've got shooters everywhere. They got hitters everywhere. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield. That's all you need. Well, basically their entire starting lineup, but y'all get it. We'll stay away from this one. No real great value there with the 8-point spread. That brings us to the last game of the night, the 76ers and the Clippers, and this is the 76ers real kind of contest here. Let's see if Joel Embiid is still out. He is still out. Truly unfortunate. George Hill is also a game-time decision, so he might be able to kind of make his debut here for the 76ers. Now for the Clippers. All right, Rajon Rondo, game-time decision. He could make his debut. Patrick Beverley is out, so probably Rondo, all right, we actually need you out here in the starting lineup, so Rondo probably going to play. Serge Ibaka is still out. Kawhi Leonard, game time decision. He probably doesn't play. So we're going to double down here with the 76ers. I love what they've been doing without Joel Embiid. They're making it work. Now, they've been winning against kind of the lackluster teams, but all those game time decisions, Serge Ibaka being out, Kawhi Leonard being a game time decision, we know how that turns out. He's probably not going to play. Can we trust Rondo to really kind of get acclimated game 1? Can we trust Paul George if Kawhi Leonard doesn't play? So we're going to take the 4.5 here points with the 76ers and live with it because of how well they're playing without Joel Embiid. I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of truly impressed that they're just kind of keep on winning without that man. So we'll take the 76ers plus 4.5. This is their real kind of first test at real great competition without Joel Embiid. We'll bet on it. They've been playing great all night or all the time without Joel Embiid, and the Clippers, too many game time decisions. So our moneymaker here, officially for today's action in the NBA, Bulls +2, Celtics -4.5, 76ers +4.5. Let's get it. Let's get it going. Let's get it back on track, man. Sick of losing by like 1 game every freaking day. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. So here we go. Alrighty, let's head over to our main topic of today, our NBA Power Rankings. Yes, sir, we do this on a weekly basis. Couldn't fit it in yesterday's show. We had to slide it over to today's, but we do this every Friday. So yeah, I mean, now that, the trade deadline has come and gone, we're really kind of, this week from, yesterday, Friday, till next Friday, that's going to be kind of the real test and the meat and potatoes of who the teams are, who's going to be kind of the playoff contenders. Now that you kind of got your final roster set, what can you do with those pieces on your teams that you have right now? Who's going to elevate? Who's going to rise? Who's going to fall? Who's going to flounder? Well, we're going to get a real nice kind of look at it this week. So next Friday, those power rankings, those are going to be kind of all right. Now we're seeing everything. We're seeing the big picture of the entire team of what they actually are. So this is a little bit of a building block week in power rankings. Let's see if anybody's kind of making strides here right before that trade deadline, and now let's see what they're doing after the trade deadline. So these next 2 weeks, this week, next week, really going to get the full picture of the NBA. But going into this week, or going into last week, because we do this every Friday. So going into last week, our power rankings, this is what they were. Hawks at 10, Blazers at 9, Heat at 8, Mavs at 7, Jazz at 6, Bucks at 5, Nuggets at 4, Suns at 3, 76ers at 2, and the Nets at number 1. Alrighty, I will, let's preface this by saying we have a new number 1 team. By the end of today, we will have a new number 1 team. And we also have 2 teams falling out of the top 10, and we'll have to put 2 new teams in. But the first team that we're dropping out of the top 10 is number 8, the Heat. I mean, they're on a 6-game losing streak, folks. Now, I know they just did get Victor Oladipo, and that's going to make them real freaking good, and they're going to be absolutely amazing once he gets in the starting lineup. Once Goran Dragic comes back, this Heat team is going to be absolutely fantastic. They'll be in. I will guarantee you the Heat will be in the power rankings next week, hands down. But we have to take them out because of what they've done this last week. They're 0-6, 6-game losing streak. In the last week, they've lost against the Pelicans, the Pacers twice, the Suns, the Blazers, and the Hornets. I mean, come on. I mean, you couldn't even split against the Pelicans. Come on. I mean, they couldn't do anything. 6 straight losses. So for that reason alone, we have to take them out. But like we said, I mean, Victor Oladipo makes them great. Trevor Ariza is already doing very well, already better than what Kelly Olynyk has done all season. So this Heat team is legit. I'm not saying they're not legit, but since they lost 6 games, this is how we kind of do our power rankings week by week stretch. I know they're going to be good. I know they're going to be good. I knew they were going to be good when Paul Pierce said that they were trash and weren't going to make the playoffs freaking like 4 weeks into the season when Jimmy Butler wasn't playing any of the games and they were like the 14th seed and Paul Pierce was going wild. We still knew that he were going to be good, but we had to take them out this week. They'll be back next week, I can guarantee you. They'll probably be like top 5 next week. Like, honestly, they'll be top 5. That lineup of, oh my God, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, and then you're going to have like Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero off the bench. That's going to be a solid squad off the bench. So you got the facilitator of Kendrick Nunn. You got the shooters of Duncan Robinson. Hopefully he can step up because he's not stepping up really in the starting lineup. So hopefully he can step up off the bench. But they're going to be deep. They got a solid starting lineup, and then they got some nice shooters coming off the bench. So they're back to what they were in the bubble last season. Hopefully the shooters can get back on track. So the Heat are out of the power rankings this week. And then also, unfortunately, I didn't want to really move them out, but I have to. And like I said, this team is going to have, a nice piece here that can kind of work since the trade deadline that can maybe kind of make it up and get back in the power rankings next week. But we have to take out the Hawks here. Now, let's talk about what they've done in the last week here. They beat the Lakers and the Warriors, but I mean, the Warriors with no Steph Curry, the Lakers without LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I mean, those are give me wins. We don't like to penalize you for, doing what you're supposed to do, but the big reason why we're taking them out of the top 10 is that they lost to the Clippers this week. I mean, the one opponent here that was truly just kind of above average and really kind of a good opponent here, the Hawks floundered. They lost by 9. They kept it decently close, but once again, we need to see this Hawks team start to beat the upper echelon teams here, and they just didn't do it this week. So we're gonna give a shot here to another team that's really been stepping it up and it's really impressing me. So when we kind of unveil the top 10, we'll tell you who we're talking about. But we have to take out the Hawks here. Losing against the Clippers really left a bad taste in my mouth. Now they did get Lou Williams, and I think that's really gonna help out this team. Trae Young, Lou Williams, all on the starting lineup, and then maybe have Bogdanovich, him come off the bench. So hopefully they get a little bit deeper, because that's the only thing we don't like about that Hawks team. They really have no good depth. So hopefully Lou Williams, maybe he even comes off the bench. I don't think he does, but if you have Lou Williams come off the bench, that's a great depth for the Hawks team. Or if he gets elevated to that starting lineup, whoever comes off that starting lineup goes down to the bench and hopefully can still get that great production that they're having in the starting lineup. So Hawks have to come out of the top 10. Like I said, like the Heat, they could have a chance to really get back in the top 10 this week once kind of, Lou Williams gets accustomed to that starting lineup or wherever he goes. But we do have to take the Hawks out. Alrighty, so those are the two teams going out of the top 10. Everybody's getting shuffled around, and we do have two new teams. So let's start here, going 10 all the way up to number 1 here. The new number 10 team in our power rankings is going to be the Hornets. Yes, sir. They lose LaMelo Ball, but they're still winning games. Absolutely fantastic. Everybody's really stepping it up on that team, and I'm so impressed by them. Now, they haven't really been beating great teams. This last week, they beat the Spurs, the Rockets, and the Heat, and lost to the Clippers. Kind of, I just want to kind of elevate them and praise them of what they've been doing, because you lose LaMelo Ball, but you're still winning games. I'm all about that. So everybody's stepping it up here. I don't really see the Hornets kind of, keeping their spot here. Like I said, they lost against the Clippers. That's kind of why we took out the Hawks, but the Hawks didn't lose one of their best players. So we want to kind of shout out the Hornets a little bit here. We have a little bit of a free spot here this week. They've been doing absolutely fantastic without LaMelo Ball, so we're going to praise them and give them the number 10 seed here. Let's see what they can do. Let's give them a chance here in our power rankings. Maybe they'll surprise us, because they just surprised us by winning all those games without LaMelo Ball. So we're going to give the Hornets a little bit of a praise here, a little bit of a shout out. But 10th best team in this league right now. Getting it all done. Everybody's stepping it up. Next man up. No problem there. Malik Monk, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Cody Zeller still getting it done off the bench. So really a big fan of just kind of the work ethic and everybody stepping it up on this Hornets team. Got to respect them, and for that, we give them the number 10 seed here. Alrighty, new number 9 team in the second new team here in our power rankings, and we got to give it up for the Clippers. I mean, we've kept them out of the power rankings for like the last 3 weeks, folks. They've just been showing us nothing great, nothing solid. Nobody steps up without Kawhi Leonard. Paul George is still having really lackluster games here and there, but the last week they went 3-0, beating the Hornets, the Hawks, and the Spurs, so we can start moving them up a little bit. We'll see who did they get Rondo. We'll see how kind of he fares it. I mean, we saw him play great off the bench for that Lakers last season for that championship stretch. We saw him not doing anything on that Hawks team this season, and we weren't sure. I mean, Rondo didn't have anything to work with off the bench. I mean, the Hawks bench is truly not really great at all. They're not deep at all. So that's kind of why we chalked up the lack of success of Rajon Rondo. But now he's here with the Clippers, and the Clippers need a facilitator on their floor. So we'll see what he's able to do here. Big week here for the Clippers. They're held to a little bit of a higher standard since they got a lot of great players on that team. Just haven't really impressed us at all this season. Kawhi Leonard with the load management, and then Paul George not stepping up, and then nobody else really stepping it up off their bench. So Clippers at number 9 here. We'll take it slowly but surely with them, and I'm not afraid to knock them right back out next week if they're really not living up to their hype again. So we'll see how they kind of close out this back half of the second half of the season. But we'll give them their dues. 3-0 in the last week. We had an opening here, so we put them up at number 9. Alrighty, new number 8 team here since we told you the Heat are no longer there. And we have to move up the Blazers a little bit here. Blazers are the new number 8 team, moving up, I think, 1 spot because I believe they were just at number 9. But yeah, the Blazers. I mean, CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard is still getting it done. Damian Lillard didn't even play last night, and they still get the win. Yusuf Nurkic is finally back. Oh my goodness. Now we have Enes Kanter off the bench. I mean, this is going to be a great team. And then they just got Norman Powell, who steps it up. He just played his first game, getting it done. Not really, missing Gary Trent Jr. that much because they're still deep now. And then when you get Damian Lillard playing with Norman Powell, oh my goodness. And I think Derrick Jones Jr. could be coming off the bench, and I think that's going to be absolutely fantastic for him. Didn't really love him in this starting lineup. He has good defense, but, the scoring output, the rebounds, the assists, I mean, that's not really his game in the starting lineup. Can't really figure out his offensive rhythm there. Doesn't take a lot of shots, so he's decently efficient when he shoots, but it's just not a lot. It's really just out there for defense. So really think Norman Powell's going to go to that the number 3 spot. Derrick Jones Jr. comes off the bench. Enes Kanter comes off the bench. Carmelo comes off the bench. And then in the starting lineup, you have CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, Nurkic, and Robert Covington, and Norman Powell. I mean, folks, can we talk about a fantastic starting lineup? Or you have Norman Powell come off the bench and run the second units with him and Enes Kanter and Carmelo Anthony. So however you slice it, this Blazers team is great. Damian Lillard is clutch after clutch. We just saw him hit the game-winning free throws after getting fouled on the game-winning 3 2 games ago. No Damian Lillard, and they still get the win. Now that's a huge sign as well for this Blazers team. So fantastic. And in the last week, they beaten the Mavs, the Heat, the Magic. They did lose against the Mavs and the Nets, so definitely have to be a little bit better there. Got to start beating those kind of better teams a little bit. They were competitive against the Nets. I think they lost by like 6 or something like that. But overall, this Blazers team is ready to rock. They've got players everywhere. They're one of the deepest teams, I think, in this league right now. And if Damian Lillard is going to still be clutch as he has been this entire season, and I think he will be, watch out for this Blazers team. So Blazers at number 8. Alrighty, number 7 is going to stay the Mavs. Kind of a little wonky week here. They went 2-2. They beat the Blazers and the Timberwolves, and then they lost to the Blazers and the Pelicans. So, kind of iffy there. Luka Doncic not being in, so, we can't really trust those losses too much there. I mean, when Luka Doncic and Porzingis are on the floor, I mean, it's very good out there. This Mavs team is slowly getting better a little bit there. They just made a move for J.J. Redick. I don't know how well that's going to pan out. I'm not a big J.J. Redick fan. But overall, we see Tim Hardaway Jr. still having great continued success there off the bench. So decent squad here for the Mavs, beating some decent teams here. Splitting against the Blazers is pretty good. Just can't really move them up or down right now. We'll see what they do this week and kind of, once Luka Doncic comes back a little bit. We'll see how they're able to do. But, yeah, just didn't really see them moving up or down. So we'll keep them at number 7 for another week and see what they can do. Alrighty, new number 6 team is going to be The Denver Nuggets, we see them slip down a little bit here. I think they've kind of lost their little kind of invulnerability a little bit. I mean, they've been steamrolling a couple of teams, but this last week they've been a little lackluster. So here we go. In the last week, they beaten the Bulls, the Magic, and the Pelicans, and then lost against the Pelicans and the Raptors. So, and they got absolutely blown out by the Raptors, and that wasn't good, and everybody was playing that game. So, not really great there. They just picked up Aaron Gordon. So, I mean, like I said, this week is really going to open our eyes on what these teams are actually all about. The Heat, the Nuggets, the Hawks, the Clippers. I mean, they've got a lot to prove since getting better by the trade deadline. But just this week alone, the Nuggets haven't really kind of looked as dominant as they kind of can be and kind of have shown they could be. I mean, we're talking about Jokic as the MVP front runner. He's had a couple of lackluster games as well, kind of in this stretch. So we move the Nuggets down a little bit here. We'll see what they're able to do this next week with their new addition of a big ol' superstar on their team. Don't really know how it's going to work with Aaron Gordon. I mean, their starting roster is pretty much stacked anyway. So we'll see who's going to have to get forced down to that bench. But whoever it is not going to be happy. I'll tell you that. Because everybody thinks that they can be a starter. And honestly, yeah, everybody kind of can be the starter. Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Paul Millsap, depending on what they do with the 3 and the 4. All we know is that Jokic is not going anywhere. Jokic will stay the 5. So we'll see what the Nuggets do with their new additions, but we got to move them down a little bit for a little bit of a lackluster week. Alrighty, new number 5 team. No, we keep the Bucks at number 5 here. I mean, they were on that 8-game winning streak, 7 or 8 game, whatever it was. But I mean, their close win against the Celtics and then their blowout really loss just last night against the Celtics really left a poor taste in my mouth. Like, how do you lose? I mean, I get Jason Tatum really finally had a great game again. We haven't really seen that in the last month, maybe 2 months. We haven't seen Jason Tatum go for like 34 points like that efficiently, like he did last night. So little bit of a bad taste in my mouth by the Bucks performance last night. No Daniel Tice, no Tristan Thompson. Robert Williams, who hasn't started the entire season, finally gets into the starting lineup and has a great night. You let that man have a great night and kind of shut down your beef, and you were at home. So not really great there. Kemba Walker had a great game. So, everybody in the Celtics starting lineup had a really great game, but that's really no excuse for the Bucks to really kind of allow that to happen when everything's really kind of going on at the trade deadline. They get Evan Fournier, lose kind of Daniel Tice, their starting lineup big. So, real bad taste in my mouth. In the past week, the Bucks have beaten the Spurs, the Pacers, and the Celtics, and then just lost to the Celtics. So, can't really move them up or down. Definitely not going to move them down. It's not that bad of a taste, but it's something to track because we know what this Bucks team has kind of shown us the last season and this season. Huge kind of a big up and then followed by a big old crash and then followed just by inconsistencies. And that's kind of what we saw last night. Just really inconsistency. Giannis couldn't get it done. Chris Middleton played decently efficient, but just never really took over the game. And for everything else, I mean, PJ Dozier is definitely helping out this team a lot. But at the end of the day, I mean, I just can't see this Bucks team going that far because their lack of kind of three-point ability. I think it's kind of very lackluster. It's never really consistent. And when it is consistent, it's never really when they need it to be. When they need that kind of game-winning 3 or just kind of clutch 3, that's when they kind of flounder in the clutchness and when they need it. So not really sure what to do with the Bucks, but we'll see this next week. I'm telling you, this next week's going to be real eye-opening. So we'll keep the Bucks here at number 5. Alrighty, number 4, new number 4 team. Yes, sir. We get the Jazz moving on up, a nice little 4-game winning streak that they're on. They kind of, did what the Nuggets have just done, little bit of a decent losing streak, nothing really great, not kind of elite for an entire week. So, the Nuggets moved down. That's why the Jazz moved down kind of last week as well, but we're ready to move the Jazz up a little bit here to the number 4 seed because they had a great week. They went 4-0, beating the Raptors, the Bulls, the Grizzlies, and the Nets. I know the Nets, they didn't have James Harden or Kyrie Irving, and it was a blowout win, but, hey, you still won the game, so we can't penalize you for winning a game. But, yeah, I mean, they're kind of back on their bullshit a little bit. 4-game winning streak, everybody getting it going. Rudy Gobert, Jamal Murray, or Donovan Mitchell looking real good. Their bench really deep. Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson, Mike Connolly, if he's in the starting lineup or not. But yeah, this Jazz team is actually back to where they're at. Still the number one seed in the West. I mean, they saw the Suns coming up on them, and they're like, we got to get back on track, and that's exactly what they did. So nice little 4-game winning streak for them. A great week for them. Didn't really make any moves at the trade deadline, so they're kind of the same old Jazz team, and it's still a good old Jazz team. They're deep. Their starting lineup is fantastic. So we're all about this Jazz team, and they move up to number 4. Alrighty, the top 3, here we go. The Suns are staying at number 3 right here. So in the last week, they beat the Timberwolves, the Heat, the Lakers, the Raptors, and then lost to the Magic. It was a close loss. It was like a 1-point loss, but not really any great wins. Timberwolves, Lakers, Heat, Raptors. So all teams that they should be expected to win. And, that's for that reason why we can't really move them up a little bit. Now, they're absolutely fantastic. DeAndre Ayton, Cameron, or Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Jay Crowder, that's all good, but their bench is a little lackluster, and that gives us some pause there with the Suns team. But that one loss against the Magic, if they won that game, we probably moved them up a little bit for going 5-0 in the week. But just how kind of well the other teams have played here, the 76ers and the Nets, we are going to keep the Suns here at number 3 and see if they can kind of keep it up this week. Now, the Suns, they didn't make a trade at the trade deadline, so they're kind of the same old team that they are. So nothing really to prove here, just to kind of prove that they're consistent and can consistently win. So a big old week up ahead here for the Suns. We'll see what they can do. Alrighty, new number 2 team. We are swapping number 1 and number 2. So the 76ers are the new number 1 team, and the Nets drop down to the number 2. So let's start here with the Nets, since they are the new number 2 team. Don't want to penalize them too much. They lost their game against the Jazz without James Harden and Kyrie Irving. And without Kyrie Irving, that's fine. But once James Harden starts to get out of that starting lineup, then we start to battle on this Nets team. James Harden is a MVP candidate, and in my opinion, should be the front runner of what he's doing consistently on this Nets team. Kevin Durant has barely been playing. Kyrie Irving is a little in and out of the starting lineup here, for personal reasons. But James Harden, he's the one that's holding this team together. He's the one that's basically playing every game. He took one game off against the Jazz. I can let that happen because he's been putting the team on his back for this entire season. He's not taking games off. He's averaging double-digit assists. He's taking less shots, so Kyrie Irving can get the more touches that he thinks he deserves, and dominates the ball there. Making all the role players work, making DeAndre Jordan look good, making Blake Griffin, who's just got here, back to good old Blake Griffin, somebody that we can really kind of solidify and kind of trust coming off the bench. Where with the Pistons, I mean, he was absolutely trash in that starting lineup. He's not taking the threes anymore. He's back to dunking. He's back to catching lobs from James Harden, and James Harden's just keeping this team on track with the inconsistencies of their starters in the kind of lineup. James Harden is the only solid, consistent player, and that's the reason alone for the success here from the Nets. He's elevating everybody around him, so I don't want to drop the Nets too much here because of their loss against the Jazz. Their loss against the Magic, a little, kind of like what the Suns did, a very close loss there. But in the last week, they beaten the Wizards, the Blazers, and the Pistons. Lost against the Jazz because, nobody was playing. And then the Magic, just kind of a close loss there. So I don't want to penalize this Nets team too much here. James Harden is trying his all, and he's looking gosh darn great out there. MVP front runner, in my opinion. So we'll drop the Nets back a little bit here. This week, I mean, the Suns and the Nets are really kind of at 2A and 2B. It's really not even 2 or 3. It's really kind of similar there. But we'll keep the Nets there. Won't drop them down 2 spots. We'll drop them down 1. So Nets at number 2. James Harden, man, does not get the respect he deserves. He's just starting to, which is real funny because we've been on it for the last month. But we digress. We won't gloat too much on calling out James Harden for MVP. Even though we know what we're talking about there. Little vindicated, won't brag. Vindicated, but won't brag. There it is. All right, and then the number 1 team, 76ers. I mean, they're winning without Joel Embiid. Fantastic. Absolutely great. People are starting to step up. Tobias Harris is being so freaking consistent. If there was a 5th man of the year or just kind of, most consistent player in the NBA, I think we got to give it to Tobias Harris because no Joel Embiid, he still gets it done. With Joel Embiid, he still gets it done. There's really no difference to his game, although he does kind of elevate his game a little bit without Joel Embiid. Now, the one knock I have against the 76ers is they're not beating the good teams without Joel Embiid. That starts tonight against, who do we say? They got the Clippers tonight, so that's going to be a huge game, and we'll see. We might have to change the power rankings tomorrow, whether they win or if they get blown out by the Clippers, we're going to have to move them down tomorrow on the show, and we won't have to wait a week for that. But, I mean, in the last week, they beat in the Kings, the Knicks, the Warriors, the Lakers. I mean, really no great win there. The Knicks is a solid win because the Knicks are fine, but, I mean, really no great win. The Warriors without Steph Curry, the Lakers without LeBron and AD. So no real great wins there, but they're still winning without Joel Embiid. So I got to give them credit. People are starting to step up a little bit. Danny Green, having decent shooting performances out there. So, hey, I got to give it up to that. Ben Simmons is playing great. So just winning games without Joel Embiid, everybody's stepping it up. That's absolutely huge, and I got to respect it here for the 76ers going 4-0 this week without Joel Embiid. But like we said, it starts today. It starts tonight because they got a tough schedule ahead of them. Let me bring up their schedule very, very quickly here. This week, man, it's going to be telling. New players and new teams. Let's rock with it. Let's win instantly. But this 76ers team, they got the Clippers, the Nuggets, and then, they're kind of back to the Cavs for their next 3 games. That's what they're going to have this week. But, I mean, 2 real tough games in these next 2 days. That's really going to tell us a lot. The Clippers and the Nuggets. So we'll see. But, 76ers, new number 1 team, back at number 1, actually. I think they were number 1 a couple of weeks ago. Nets have been the number 1 seed for the last, 3 weeks or something like that. But, 76ers going 4-0 this week. Absolutely fantastic. Alrighty, so this is our power rankings going into next week. Hornets at 10, Clippers at 9, Blazers at 8, Mavs at 7, Nuggets at 6, Bucks at 5, Jazz at 4, Suns at 3, Nets at 2, and the 76ers at 1. I would say the Hawks, Heat, Celtics all outside looking in at kind of, 11, 12, and 13. And this week, man, let's prove it. Let's, show us that you made the right decision by making those big old trades, sacrificing those players to get other players that you believe in. Let's start winning some games, get up on these power rankings, and anything can happen now at the back half of the season now that the trade deadline is over. Alrighty, that is going to do it for us. We'll quickly see if anything broke as we were going. Patriots are reportedly still sniffing around trade for Jimmy G. I mean, they could do that, man. Absolutely. Because it looks like they're moving off of him. So, alrighty. That's really going to do it for us today, folks. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow, live, noon Eastern. Our camera died. Is that correct? That seems about right. Alright, so we're out of here. We're back tomorrow, live, noon Eastern, doing all of our classic things. Alrighty, we're out of here.